$300 a month, Dave. That's what it cost me to live in San Francisco. That's a client of mine talking about the year after he sold his San Francisco home. Selling your San Francisco home in 2026 is supposed to mean downsizing, smaller, less. You got the opposite. The building is now paid off. He lives in it. It pays him about $15,000 a month in San Francisco. Two clients today, both sold San Francisco homes, neither one downsized. By the end of this, you'll know which of three moves fits you. The one financing line that made his work, the reason it fails in most San Francisco buildings, and how a Marina District couple sold here and ended up with a bigger house than they had in San Francisco. I'm David Poulsen, top San Francisco Realtor and former real estate developer. This is for San Francisco homeowners sitting on 20, 30, 40 years of equity in a house that's now bigger than the life inside it. And maybe you haven't touched it in a while. Maybe it needs too much work. You've been told the next move is downsize, smaller, less. I want to challenge that word for San Francisco sellers in 2026. In 30 years, I've watched people give up more than they had to because downsize was the only word anybody ever offered them. Marina District, Cal Hollow, Pacific Heights. Out in the Richmond, the arithmetic is the same. So what can San Francisco equity actually buy you? Three things. That's the whole menu. One, more income. You convert the house into an asset that pays you every month. That's client A. Two, more house. You take San Francisco money somewhere, it goes further. Marin County, maybe. In this case, and you get more, not less. That's client B. Three, less house, the classic downsize, single level condo, elevator, no stairs, a real answer for a lot of people. And I've made a whole video on it, linked at the end. Only one of those three is downsizing in 2026. We still talk about it like it's the only option because it's the only one anybody names out loud. So let's name the other two. Can I sell my San Francisco home and buy an income property in San Francisco? Yes. Here's exactly what one client did. He owned San Francisco single family home, longtime owner, substantial equity, and he did not want to leave this city. He sold it. And instead of buying a condo, he bought a 4-unit building in San Francisco's Coal Valley. One of the 4 units was vacant at the time of the sale. He moved into that unit. Now follow the money. He put the proceeds from the house sale down on the building. The 3 tenant-occupied units produced rent. That rent covered the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and the operating costs on the whole building. Not most of it, effectively all of it, which meant his actual out of pocket cost to live in San Francisco, in a city where the median single family price, according to the San Francisco Association of Realtors, is $2.1 million, was around $300 a month. He liked to remind me of that number. Now, here's where it gets good. He kept the building, he paid it down, and a few years later, that mortgage is gone. I sat with him recently, free and clear. He lives in one unit, and the other three at today's San Francisco rents bring him roughly $15,000 a month. He lives on that in San Francisco, in a building he owns outright. Let me be precise about what actually happened, because it's easy to hear $15,000 a month and miss the mechanism. He didn't get rich on appreciation. He converted a consuming asset into a producing one. His San Francisco house cost him money every month: taxes, insurance, roof maintenance. The building pays him same equity, opposite direction. He lived in it. That's not a detail, that's the entire strategy. It's the reason the financing worked, which brings me to the part nobody explains to sellers. Quick pause. If you own a San Francisco home and you're wondering whether either of these moves is even possible for you, call or text me. David Poulsen, top San Francisco Realtor, at 415-735-6188, or DM me right here on YouTube. I'll look at your actual numbers and tell you the straight scoop, whether it works or it doesn't. No pitch. Let's keep going. Why did he buy a 4-unit building and not a 6 or an 8? This is the most useful thing in this video, so let me slow down. There's a hard line in residential real estate finance between 4 units and 5 units. A property with 2 to 4 units is treated as residential. You can finance it with a residential loan. Now, if you're going to live in one of the units, you're an owner occupant, which historically means better terms and a lower down payment than what an investor pays on a commercial loan. The moment you hit 5 units, it's commercial. Different loan products, different underwriting, different down payment, different everything. So a 4-unit building is the largest income property you can buy while still being treated like a homeowner. That's the door that most San Francisco homeowners don't know exists, because nobody in this business explains it to sellers. They explain it to investors. You're not an investor. You're a San Francisco homeowner with a lot of equity and a decision to make. One more piece. The unit he moved into was vacant at close. In San Francisco, that is not a small detail. That is close to the whole ballgame. Before I was a realtor, I was a developer. I had taken raw land, subdivided, and built it out. Projects up to 48 homes. I built and owned multi-unit, office, retail, and industrial. So when I walk a San Francisco 4-unit building with a client, Marina District, Cal Hollow, the Richmond, the Sunset, it doesn't matter. I'm not looking at the kitchens. One, I read the rent roll before reading the listing. The price tells me what the seller wants. The rent roll tells me what the building is. What is each unit renting for today? How long has each tenant been there? What's the gap between current rent and market rent? 2, which units are vacant and why? A vacant unit at close is what lets you move in. A fully occupied building is a completely different purchase with a completely different risk profile. 3, systems, not finishes. Roof age, electrical service across 4 units, sewer lateral, foundation, and any soft story retrofit obligation. San Francisco has requirements here, and they are expensive. Structural is where 4-unit building eats you alive if you didn't look. 4, the developer's question. What's the optionality? An unwarranted space that could be legalized, an ADU envelope. But be careful on conversion. The owner occupancy condo conversion path in San Francisco is a 2-unit mechanism. For a 3 or 4-unit, that's much harder road, and the rules move. Never buy a 4-unit assuming you'll convert it. 5, what would I walk away from? A building where the rent roll is far below market. Every unit is occupied long term, and the seller is selling because of that. You're not buying a building at that point. You're buying somebody else's problem. At that price, that assumes you'll solve it. So, does the 4-unit strategy work for every San Francisco seller? No. And I want to be straight with you because there are a lot of people online selling this move as a formula. It isn't one. My client's outcome was specific to his building, his rent roll, his timing, and years of holding it. Here's what has to be true. San Francisco rent control is real and it is strict. San Francisco has a rent ordinance, and most older buildings in the city fall under rent control. Price controls and eviction controls both. If you buy a rent controlled building, assuming you'll raise the rents to market, you've made a serious mistake. Before you buy anything with tenants in it, have a San Francisco landlord tenant attorney review the situation. Not your agent, an attorney. You become a landlord, not passively. Habitability, repairs, notices, turnover, and a real body of tenant protection law in the city. Some people are fine with that. Some hate it. Know which one you are before. Vacancy is a risk concentrated with 4 units. One vacancy is 25% of your income, and the tax picture changes. Your primary residence and your rental units are treated differently. Depreciation, expenses, and what happens when you eventually sell. That's a CPA conversation. Before you write an offer, not after. You have to get a smaller home when you sell in San Francisco? No. Here's my second client. A couple in the Marina District. They'd raised their kids in that home. Kids grew up, moved out, and suddenly 2 people were living in a house built for 4. The obvious advice would have been downsize, get a condo, get smaller. They did the opposite. They sold the Marina District home and moved to Marin County and bought a bigger house on a bigger lot than what they had in San Francisco. Same money, more property. Because San Francisco price per square foot and Marin County price per square foot are not the same number. And that gap is the entire trade. And here's why it was the right call, which has nothing to do with real estate. They didn't need less room. They needed different room. Now the kids come with the grandkids. There's a backyard. The grandchildren actually have room to play in, which if you raised a family in the Marina District, you know is not what you had. There are enough bedrooms that the kids and the grandkids each have their own room when they stay over. They didn't shrink their life. They built the house the next 25 years needed instead of keeping the one the last 25 had happened in. Notice what both clients have in common because it's the whole point. Neither one asked, how do I get smaller? They both asked, what do I want this equity to do for me? So what taxes should San Francisco sellers know about before they move? 2 rules. I'll give you the headline on each. I've made full videos on both, linked in the description. Rule 1, Proposition 19. If you're 55 or older, you can transfer your low property tax base to a replacement primary residence anywhere in California. Not just your county, statewide. Up to 3 times San Francisco to Marin County qualifies. And here's the misconception that cost San Francisco sellers the right house. Most people think Prop 19 only works if you buy something cheaper. Wrong. My Marina District clients bought a bigger, more expensive home in Marin County and still used it. Here's the actual mechanic in round numbers. You sell your San Francisco home for $2 million. Your assessed value is $400,000. You buy in Marin County for $2.5 million. You're not reassessed at $2.5 million. You take your $400,000 base and add the $500,000 difference. New base, $900,000. That gap is real money every single year for as long as you own the home. Buying up does not kill the transfer, it just adjusts it. One warning, there are filing windows and timing rules, and they will bite you if you miss them. My full video on the 3 most common Prop 19 mistakes is linked in the description. Rule 2, capital gains. Prop 19 handles the property tax. It does nothing here. Federal primary residence exclusion is $250,000 for singles and $500,000 for married filing jointly. Set in 1997. Never indexed for inflation. A San Francisco owner who bought in the 80s has a gain that's a multiple of that, and the excess is exposed. The one thing I have you do today is find your improvement receipts. Every capital improvement over the 40 years raises your cost basis and lowers your taxable gain. I'm a realtor, not a CPA, and not an attorney. This is for education and entertainment purposes, not tax or legal advice. Take both of these to a CPA before you list. So which of the three are you? Answer 3 questions and you'll know. Question 1. Do you want your next property to pay you or to hold you? An income property pays you and asks for work. A home holds you and asks for money. There's no wrong answer. There's only a wrong answer for you. Question 2. What is your annual carry cost right now? Taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, gardening, as one single number. Almost nobody knows it. You can't evaluate any alternative until you do. Question 3. What does the next 25 years need from this property? Not the last 25. Grandkids, stairs, proximity to people who actually show up for you. My Marina District clients answered that one, and it pointed them to a bigger house. That surprised them. It shouldn't surprise you. Answer those 3 and you'll know whether you're the 4-unit building or the bigger house in Marin County or the single level condo right here in San Francisco. In fact, if you could do me a favor, just tell me which one are you? Condo, house, or fourplex? I'm David Poulsen, top San Francisco Realtor. My family has lived in the San Francisco Bay Area for 4 generations. I personally spent over 30 years in real estate navigating this area's unique market cycles and sold hundreds of homes. If you own a San Francisco home and you want to know what it's actually worth and what your equity could buy you, income, more house, or less house, call or text me at 415-735-6188. Or email me at david@sfhothomes.com or DM me right here on YouTube. I'll build you a free seller net sheet on your property. What it sells for, what it costs to sell, and what you actually walk away with. Links in the description. And once more, this video is for education and entertainment purposes only. Not legal, tax, or financial advice. Please consult a CPA, an attorney, and or a financial advisor before you act. If you want the version for people who are going smaller and staying in the city, that video's on the screen now. I'll see you in the next one. This is David Poulsen coming to you live here in San Francisco's Coal Valley. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.